with Olook.in. Way back in 1992, an immigrant from Ukraine came to the US in search of some opportunity. This young teenager was accompanied by his mother, and they barely had any money for their daily expenses. Due to limited cash on hand, he used to save his old Soviet notebooks for school and queued up with his mom for food stamps under government subsidy. At the same time, there was another guy who had lost a small fortune in the dot-com bubble and was in quest of finding something big. Now, the friends have come together to disrupt the communication sector by inventing a mobile messaging app which today has over 1.2 billion monthly active users with over 30 billion messages sent every day. The friends we are talking about are Jan Koum and Brian Acton, and the company they founded together is none other than the most popular mobile app currently in the world, WhatsApp. Jan is no stranger to failure and is a founder who had to go through his fair share of rejections by top tech companies, including the one that eventually bought their servers only to become the most valuable messaging platform on the planet. Today, we are going to talk about the inspiring success story of Jan Koum and Brian Acton, who invested their blood, sweat and tears to make WhatsApp as the most sought-after company in the world. Jan was born in the rural areas of Ukraine. This was during the Soviet era, so being a Jewish and living in a rural area was definitely not easy. He lived in a house that did not even have electricity connection, and being in a country that mostly had a temperature below 0 degrees. They didn't even have hot water. His parents also denied the usage of phones because they were often tapped by the government. To worsen things more, being financially unwell, they also had to go through a regularity of hardships as well. Hence, in an attempt to put an end to all this, Jan, along with his mother and grandmother, decided to move to Mountain View, California in 1992. In the US, they were helped by a social support program to get a small 2-bedroom apartment. During this time, Jan started learning computer networking by reading manuals that he used to purchase from a used bookstore. At the age of 16, he had also begun working as a cleaner at a grocery store, while his mother worked as a babysitter. Just when things began to look normal, another tragedy hit his life when his mother was diagnosed with cancer. But he always believed that whatever did not kill you only made you stronger, and his adversities were only making him more resilient. In the next 2 years, he had fully trained himself all about computer networking and was all set to take up his next task. This is when he gained a sudden interest in programming and got himself enrolled at San Jose State University. Along with that, he also began working with Ernst & Young as a security tester. After working there for roughly 6 months, Jan got the biggest opportunity of his life when he got selected to work at Yahoo as an infrastructure engineer. Now this was when he was still studying at San Jose State University. Yahoo back then was just another startup and was beginning to grow. And since Jan loved what he was doing, he dropped out of his college and moved ahead with Yahoo. However, his happiness was short-lived as his mother couldn't outbeat cancer for long and passed away in the year 2000. He was suddenly left all alone. And that is when his friend from Ernst & Young and Yahoo, Brian Acton, helped him fight the loneliness by inviting Jan to his house off and on for playing soccer and ultimate frisbee. Together, they went on to work with Yahoo for more than 9 years. While at it, they got to intake numerous amounts of priceless knowledge and experience. Later, in January 2009, Jan bought an iPhone and realized that the 7-month-old App Store was in the process of launching a whole new range of apps. This gave him a brilliant idea. Although the idea itself was at very nascent stages, they were very clear about 3 rules. Number 1, their servers would definitely not carry any advertising. Number 2, their servers would have a satisfying experience. And number 3, keeping in mind the privacy of their customers, their product would not store any messages. Additionally, they would also maintain to deliver the product without any gimmicks or stunts with endless amount of readability and rich experience. Having that settled, Jan quickly got the name WhatsApp incorporated on his birthday, that is 24th of February 2009 in California. Now, as the work progressed, they figured that WhatsApp kept crashing or getting stuck at a particular point. This went on for a long time, which built up a great amount of frustration. Jan at one point even lost hope and felt like giving up and looking for a new job. But Brian helped him get motivated and got his act together and asked him to invest a few more months. And finally, a few months down the line, help came from Apple. They launched their push notifications, which used to ping their users when they weren't using the app. But till August 2009, WhatsApp had no significant growth. This time, Jan persuaded Brian Acton to join him. Later, in October of 2009, Brian contacted several old Yahoo buddies and got together a $250,000 in seed funding. This earned Brian the title of co-founder, and since then, there was no stopping to this tech phenomenon. By the early 2014, WhatsApp had witnessed humongous growth in its user base, with millions of people across the globe using its messaging service. WhatsApp had never publicized or promoted itself anywhere and had organically grew in numbers. By that time, it only had 55 employees who were serving millions of people each day. Later, the very next month in February 2014, Facebook declared that they were acquiring WhatsApp in a deal which was touted to be one of the biggest acquisitions in the tech history. Facebook acquired WhatsApp at a whopping $19 billion and also offered a board member position to Jan in Facebook. Jan signed the Facebook takeover contract at an unused building in Silicon Valley, where he and his mother once queued for food stamps in the city of Mountain View, where WhatsApp was located. Well, the story of WhatsApp is yet another live example of innovation in true terms for everyone out there waiting for motivation. The journey of Jan Koum and Brian Acton is a lesson for every entrepreneur that capital dumping and marketing will not reap you benefits. It is ultimately the product and the service that automatically drives customer traction without any need for paid publicity. Well, with billions of users addicted to WhatsApp's style of keeping in touch, it is undoubtedly a tech marvel of this era.